As on today, we are experiencing the era of AI powered organizations. Artificial intelligence is reshaping business, though not at the blistering pace which normally people are talking, but definitely it is going fast. Artificial intelligence is now guiding decisions on everything from crop harvest to bank loans. And once pie in the sky prospects such as totally automated customer service are on the horizon. The technologies that enable AI, like development platforms and vast processing power and data storage, are advancing rapidly and becoming increasingly affordable. This is important point. Now AI is accessible, affordable even to the medium level of organizations and mind level of organization. Not only it is accessible to the highly financially successful organizations, but medium industries also can be having lot of access for this AI powered to build up their organizations as AI powered organizations. At this juncture, a totally changing scenario and leading the organizations into adopting AI in a blistering space and blistering pace, there is a necessity of great thinking required for the organizations. That is, building a leadership in leading the AI powered organizations. I repeat, building the leadership in leading the AI powered organizations. Here, I would like to bring to your notice some thoughts which I have gone through, which I have collected by reading various magazines and articles. I'll put before you, which will be helpful. Despite the promise of AI, many organizations' efforts with it are failing short. We have seen thousands of executives about how their companies use and organize for AI, advanced analytics, and our data shows only 8% of firms engage in core practices that support widespread adoption. Most firms have run only ad hoc pilots and rarely applying AI in just a single business process, not totality of the process. This slow progress at the highest level, it is a reflection of a failure to rewire the organization. That is, reorganizing the organization in tune to the requirement of artificial intelligence. That is where the role of leadership comes. That is where first of all, the leader who is leading the organization should have an astounding understanding about the artificial intelligence. He should be an adept in adopting and structuring the administration in tune to the artificial intelligence, because the moment artificial intelligence is involving into the decision making process, there must be a total change in the existing decision making process, and AI has to be adopted phase wise or immediately, from single process to all processes, or partially from one process to other process, whatever may be the phase that requires a leadership enlightened and having a thorough understanding about the impact and the functioning of artificial intelligence. Making the shift, we will see. Leaders often think too narrowly about AI requirements. While cutting edge technology and talent are certainly needed, it is of working to support broad AI adoption, but most business leaders who are not having digital transformation mind and that mindset, traditional mindsets and ways of working run counter to those requirements of AI. To scale up AI, companies and organizations must have shifts. Soil work to interdisciplinary collaboration. Interdisciplinary collaboration is fundamental to bring artificial intelligence into the organization, because unless first you achieve this interdisciplinary coordination and having an integrated system, integrated management science, integrated management systems which are tuned to the tunes of requirements of the artificial intelligence. From experience-based leader driven decision making to data driven decision making at the front line. This is the most tough task, because all the organizations are accustomed in decision making process to a particular system, that is leader driven decision making. For everything, looking at the leader carving out the message, leader guiding, everything depending on the leader. Now the data driven decision making in the front line through intelligence, artificial intelligence, suddenly changes the entire scenario, and it must be giving a stunning push, a stunning punch to several leaders who were enjoying in the hierarchy. That how it has to be transformed, it depends upon the capability of the leadership, or the leaders who are trained and carved out by the organization in order to lead the organization into the field of artificial intelligence. When AI is adopted broadly, employees up and down, the hierarchy will augment their own judgment and intuition with algorithms, recommendations to arrive at better answers than either humans or machines could reach on their own. But for this purpose to work, people at all levels have to trust the algorithms, suggestions, and feel empowered to make decisions. This is very important point. They must feel that they are empowered to make decisions. That means abandoning the traditional top-down approach. Abandoning the traditional top-down approach. This is very difficult to build, but this has to be built in order to enjoy the fruits of the artificial intelligence based in the organization. From rigid and risk averse to agile, experimental and adaptable. These three are very, very important points to be taken. Organizations must shed the mindset that an idea needs to be fully backed, or a business tool must have every bell and whistle before it is deployed. On the first iteration, AI applications rarely have all these desired functionality. A test and learn mentality will reframe mistakes and source of discoveries. So this is where that experimentality, adaptability, risk of averse to agility, that has to be controlled, and it has to be narrowed down to the level of zero in a very phased manner by able leadership. Such fundamental shifts do not come easily. They require leaders to prepare, motivate, and equip the workforce. I repeat, they require leaders to prepare, motivate, and equip the workforce to make a change, but leaders must first be prepared themselves. We have seen failure after failure caused by the lack of foundational understanding of artificial intelligence among the senior executives. That is the problem which many organizations are facing. Setting up for success, explaining why. This is very important, which should be done by learning and development, mentors, senior leaders, senior executives. Leaders have to provide vision that rallies everyone around a common goal. Workers must understand why AI is important to the business and how they will fit into the new AI-oriented culture. New AI-oriented culture. In particular, they need reassurance that AI will enhance rather than diminish, even eliminate their roles. That wrong understanding of their roles will be eliminated. That feeling has to be eradicated from the organization by the senior leadership and capable leaders. In sharing their vision, the company leaders must put a spotlight on workers who had piloted new AI tool and help them to optimize product assortments, increase revenue. That inspires the worker. Imagine how AI could augment and elevate their performance. This is very, very important to the AI, building AI-based leadership in the organization. Anticipating unique barriers to change. See, in several cases, siloed processes can inhibit the broad adoption of AI. Organizations that assign budgets by function or business unit may struggle to assemble interdisciplinary agile teams. For example, some solutions can be found by reviewing how past change initiatives overcome barriers. Others may involve aligning AI initiatives with every cultural values that seem like obstacles. At one financial institution, there must be emphasis, and that relationship must be built between AI orientation and the normal orientation hitherto the workforce is having. That bridging the barrier and taking them and leading them to the new AI base is the very, very expert role of a CEO and other senior leaders. Budgeting as much for integration and adoption for technology, if not more. In one Forbes surveys, nearly 90% of the companies that had engaged in successful scaling practices had spent more than half of their analytics budgets on activities that drove adoption. See, the drive for adoption has to be driven in a very systematically, duly budgeting the drive, then only it will happen. See, balancing feasibility, time, investment, and value. I am using these words again. Balancing feasibility, time, investment, and value. Organizations must focus solely on not only quick wins but building it. They should develop a portfolio of initiatives with different time horizons. Automated processes that do not need human intervention, such as AI assisted fraud detection, can deliver a return in months, while projects that require human involvement, such as AI supported customer service, are likely to pay off over a longer period. That prioritization should be based on the long term and the capability of the various levels of the hierarchy available in the organization. Organizing for scale. This is also a very important planning role of a leader in bringing the implementation of artificial intelligence into his organization. The hub, the small handful of responsibilities are always best handled by a hub and led by chief analytics or chief data officers. These include data governance, AI recruiting, and training strategy. They work with third party providers of data and AI services and software. Hubs should nurture AI talent. I repeat, hubs should nurture AI talent, create communities where AI experts can share best practices and lay out processes for AI development. See, the gray area first has to be identified, and then there must be a drive force into that area in order to build up. Much of the work in successful AI transformations falls into a gray area in terms of responsibility. Key tasks: setting the direction for AI projects, analyzing the problems they will solve, building algorithms, designing the tools, testing them with end users, managing the change, and creating the supporting IT infrastructure. Managing the change. This is the management of change. That capacity, that philosophical base available in the organization, that managing the change, that technological change in a peaceful way without hurting anybody, without causing any dislocation, and with full preparation of interdisciplinary activity and interdisciplinary integration only can this be achieved. The maturity of AI capabilities. When a company is early in its AI journey, it often makes sense for analytics executives, data scientists. But business model complexity, the moment you suddenly enter this AI into that complexity cannot be understood so easily by the analytics. So that complexity should be simplified into normal procedures and see that AI executives understanding in involving solely with all soulful commitment in order to bring processes. The pace and level of technical innovation is required. When they need to innovate rapidly, some companies put more gray area strategy and capability building in the hub so they can monitor industry and technology changes better and quickly deploy AI resources to head off leading of competitive challenges. This leading of competitive challenges is mainly definitely the quality and ability of leadership. A governing coalition of business, IT and analytical leaders. I repeat, this is the ideal coalition must be there between IT and analytical leaders, fully integrating AI in a long journey, creating joint task force to oversee. It will ensure that three functions collaborate and share accountability. Coalition of business, IT and analytics. All the three must have both interdisciplinary and integrated system understanding, then only it can be implemented in a peaceful way. Educating everyone. Everyone in the employee, whether he is directly involved in the AI process or not, building the AI data or not, everybody must be educated, and that mental barriers have to be removed. The leadership, most academic, strive to give senior executives and business unit leaders high level understanding how AI works and ways, but there are several obstacles which can derail the program. That has to be properly managed. Track and facilitate adoption. While adapting it, the end user, the translator, analytics, walk the talk, there are several methods where we must make business accountable. Track and facilitate adoption. Comparing the results of decisions made with and without AI can encourage employees to use, for example, at one commodity organization level, AI can bring that lot of change. That change has to be explained. The benefits of the change that arrived in the organization has to be explained to the entire workforce, and that AI must become part and parcel of thinking that cultural value of that organization. Provide incentives for change. Like any other concept, while bringing it a new concept into the practices of the organization, that incentive also plays a bigger role. Finally, firms have to check that employees' incentives are truly aligned with AI use. I repeat the sentence. Finally, firms have to check that employees' incentives are truly aligned with AI use. This was not the case at a brick and mortar retailer that had developed AI model to optimize discount pricing so that it could clear out old stock. The model revealed that sometimes it was more profitable to dispose old stock than to sell it in a discount. But the store personnel had incentives to sell everything. Such sort of concepts, philosophies have to be brought into the minds of the people in order to build up and reap the benefits of artificial intelligence, making it as a cultural part of the organization. AI creates a virtuous circle. I repeat, AI creates a virtuous circle. The move from functional to interdisciplinary teams initially brings together diverse skills and perspectives and the user input needed to build effective tools. In time, workers across the organization absorb new collaborative practices as they work more closely with colleagues in other functions and geographies. Employees begin to think bigger with the AI, that making the people to think bigger and align themselves to ways of artificial intelligence definitely depends upon able, intellectual, trained leadership available in an organization. The mentors must play a vital role. Learning and development wing must play a vital role in this particular integration of various activities and building a culture of artificial intelligence processes in the organization. Then only the organization can reap benefits of the AI. Thank you very much.